Hi, my name is Joseph Bornstein. Welcome to the J-Starter pitch deck. J-Starter, Unleashing the Jewish Potential. First off, we all know that Jews love to give tzedakah. But how much do they give? Turns out, according to national studies, as cited on Huffington Post, Jews give an average of 2 times more than other faith demographics. Furthermore, although Jews make up around 2 to 2.5% of the US population, they make up a whopping 25% of all American mega donors to charitable foundations. At the same time, however, 80 to 90% of Jewish charity dollars go outside the Jewish community. That means that the Jewish world is left with around 10% of the charity dollars that could be coming from Jewish charitable causes. Let's see what this looks like. We currently have around $500 million of charitable dollars that contribute to all of the various wonderful Jewish charities that we see today. Compare that with the $7.4 billion of lost potential. Here we are, this scrawny little guy, when we could be a huge sumo wrestler of charitable organizations. Furthermore, over the next 2 decades, those charitable foundations and mega donors are going to be passing on $3 trillion to $10 trillion to next generation heirs. The impact is that 75% of all Jewish startups or post-startups for nonprofits say that they can't access enough funds, according to the Bikurim Foundation. So the problem is that we're not inspiring philanthropic giving in the Jewish community today. Here's what the current framework more or less looks like. On your left, you see the crowd of Jewish people looking to give to charitable organizations and potentially to the Jewish world. And then we have a large nonprofit system or foundation or federation system in which those charitable dollars are channeled through. So if you want to give to a federation, that federation will determine where your money ultimately goes. Or even if you give to a large nonprofit, there's so many programs within that nonprofit that donors don't really know what their charitable dollars are actually going to. The whole process is incredibly untransparent and undemocratic, and thus it's not inspiring to donors. The current world is changing in the philanthropic world, and it should be changing also in the world of Jewish philanthropy. According to a recent article by Philanthropy News Digest on the 6 key trends transforming Jewish philanthropy, the author notes that in the future of Jewish philanthropy, we will see more donations in smaller dollar amounts going to more organizations. The reason being that they're seeking more democratic and transparent means for channeling their money. The idea is that startups and entrepreneurs in the Jewish innovation sector could reap tremendous benefits. This is something of what the future of Jewish philanthropy will look like, where donors have direct access, impact, and participation on the causes that they want to help support. But the question is, how do we get to the future, from today to the future of Jewish philanthropy? The answer is we need to lead the charge like Yoshua and break down the walls of Jericho. The answer is J-Starter. J-Starter, Unleashing Jewish Potential. J-Starter is the matchmaker between Jewish creators and those seeking to be supporters and collaborators of fresh ideas in the Jewish world. Let's look at the addressable market, firstly through the world of crowdfunding, which is a major element of J-Starter. The annual revenue of crowdfunding has gone from around $700 million to over $2 billion in 2013, rising 81%. And then in 2014, it's projected to be at $5 billion, and in 2015, a whopping $15 billion in generated revenue globally. If we do a simple calculation for the year 2014, we know that it's projected to raise about $5 billion through crowdfunding. Multiply that by the population in the areas where crowdfunding, 99% of it is going on in America and Europe. And multiply that by an extra 10% because Jews are 10% more likely than any other demographic to give in the first place. And you get $82.5 million of revenue generated by crowdfunding. Now multiply that by 2 because Jews, when they do give, are statistically shown to give twice as much as your average donor. That means that $160.5 million is generated by crowdfunding, will be generated by crowdfunding in the year 2014. Now if we jump ahead, that number is also grossly underestimating Israel's startup nation opportunity, which is largely untapped. There's only one crowdfunding platform to fund the amazing amount of businesses and ventures coming out of Israel. It's called CrowdRise, and in under 3 years of being established, it's raised over $7 million in startup revenue through crowdfunding. Furthermore, by the year 2015, with revenues of crowdfunding being at $15 billion, the projections are at $247.5 million in crowdfunding revenue launched by Jews. If we look at the landscape of crowdfunding, we know that there are currently 536 crowdfunding platforms. Only one of them is Jewish. And according to inside sources, that is being treated as a mitzvah project and is seen really as something that's a side project by the founder. What are the services of JStarter? First is crowdfunding. We would offer reward-based, as is done by Kickstarter, also donation-based, as is also done by Kickstarter. We'd allow people to offer their services to a venture if they so decide, and also equity for more entrepreneurial crowdfunding opportunities. Next is collaboration. We would offer to the Jewish world a directory of curated services, an online workspace, forum for free exchange of ideas and dialogue, and also regional meetups and other events to spur dialogue and collaboration. We would also offer a premier suite of launch services. This would include premier campaign services like email services, video, graphics, etc., so that you can have the best looking and disseminated project out there. Also, we would offer strong consulting services to launch your pitch deck and business consultation. And even we would offer purchase fulfillment, a store for those people who are wanting to develop an actual product or service that could be made available for purchase. So rather than going on to Amazon, at JStarter, people could actually buy products that they helped fund and that came from a Jewish venture. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is network expansion and outreach. Let's meet Susie. Susie is a liberal Jew working in Denver, and she has strong left leanings. She wants to become involved in politics, and she's Jewish. Now Susie learns about JStarter and gets inspired to do an outreach project in her community. As we all know, when one is fundraising, equally, if not more important as the cause, is the person who is launching the fundraising campaign. So Susie is able to reach out to many new networks and people that a traditional nonprofit would never have been able to reach, and forge those contacts and bring them into the JStarter community by getting them to channel their donations and interactions with the JStarter website. Now when Susie does that, it necessarily means that all of those new networked people are going to be entering the JStarter world. They're going to be seeing, much like we see that IKEA does automatic exposure through forcing you to walk through the IKEA store, or Amazon offers um, prompts suggesting that you might like to purchase certain products, so too will JStarter formulate a experience in which the participants and the supporters will be exposed to new ideas, new projects, and creative works that they might be interested in. We can collect a tremendous amount of data based off the clicks, the time spent on a certain page, etc., in so many different ways, and we can eventually monetize and leverage that data to do amazing things together and expand the network of people who are involved in, engaged with JStarter and the Jewish people. We can also use it to showcase future events that they might be interested in, host events, and much, much more. In conclusion, JStarter offers an infusion of new capital to the Jewish world, philanthropy, and social entrepreneurship. We offer the opportunity to help generate organic and dynamic new networks that are unpredictable precisely because they work off people's social networks and human exchanges. Thirdly, it is a platform that will only spur innovation because it encourages dialogue and collaboration across spheres that would never normally interact with each other. And we are a launchpad for new ventures and creators of all sorts because we offer the funding, mentorship, and networks for them to achieve their dreams. Help us power Jewish creativity and innovation around the globe. JStarter, unleashing the power of the Jewish people. Thank you.